Fuck me sideways, eh? So England and Ireland met at Twickenham. Nothing to play for other than, well, the sake of the game and pride and the general animosity between England and Ireland, and you know, it was fucking horrendous. I mean, 4 years ago, England beat Ireland 33-10. Today they beat them 39. And they deserved it. I mean, we were... Part of our problem was, early on we weren't contesting the scrum. Well, it's not that we weren't contesting the scrum, we were just making a lot of mistakes in the scrum, we were losing the scrum a lot. But after about 15-20 minutes of the second half, Ireland just gave up. And I was actually embarrassed for them. Not by them, I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm Irish and that I support them. But I was embarrassed for them because they weren't interested. They just looked like they wanted to get off. They wanted to get home. They were beaten, and the thing that made it so hard to take was not the fact that they were beaten on the scoreboard or on the pitch, but they were beaten in their heads. And you know, I mean, credit goes to England. England, I don't know whether it was part of the game plan that they had identified the Irish scrum as a weak point, but the Irish scrum was definitely a weak point, and England took full advantage. I think the penalty try that the referee gave, when it was still, I mean, it was only 3 points in it at that stage, it was a wrong decision. It was the wrong decision. The ball was out of the scrum before he gave the try, before he awarded the penalty try for collapsing the scrum. So it was a wrong decision. But I mean, England were worthy of their lead at that stage. I mean, they'd camped in the Irish 5 metre line for a few minutes at that stage. Keith Earls for Ireland made a couple of breaks, but that was about it. I mean, everything kind of went wrong from an Irish perspective today. Rob Kearney, who has been one of the most outstanding players of the tournament in my opinion, was poor. I mean, he late on, you could see he knocked the ball forward a couple of times. His kicking was poor. He just everything just kind of went wrong for them, you know. I have to say, in the first half, I thought England, the scrum half, was being very cynical. He was just slowing things so much, and you know, the commentary that I was watching, obviously I was watching it from the Irish commentary perspective, and they were saying that it's actually being talked about by the international rugby bodies about how long you can hold the ball at the back of a ruck like that. You know, because he was just taking it so slow, and then kicking box kicks, and he wasn't kicking them very well, and we should have been capitalising on those. But I think, again, please bear in mind I'm talking from an Irish perspective, so I can't really comment much on the English other than they were fantastic and they deserved their win, without doubt. But you know, Ireland were showed up today for what they are, a team with some great individuals that can play very well together, but very, very lacking in cover. I mean, we've been missing O'Driscoll for the entire tournament, that's fair enough, and we had Keith Earls playing as a centre alongside Gordon Darcy, and Darcy has played with O'Driscoll for a number of years, but Darcy looked well past his best the entire tournament, and today in particular he was horrendous. I honestly thought he was absolutely atrocious today. Earls, like I said, made a couple of good breaks and showed himself to be potentially a good centre for us, but I mean, we lost Mike Ross, which initially could have been part of the problem in the scrum. You know, we had an injured man in the front row, which wasn't going to help us, but then the replacement came in and things didn't really change. We got one good scrum at the end of the first half after the replacement, and it was Cronin that came in, Sean Cronin, and it was of no benefit. You know, the scrum just kept going, and I mean, Jesus, every scrum that we got, I mean, the Irish commentators were actually talking about not contesting the scrums, just let England do, you know, because that's how bad we were being, and we picked up another injury to a front row, and the scrum can't be played without a front row, obviously. But yeah, I mean, all you can say is congratulations to England. They very much merited their victory. Ben Young's try at the end was nice. I liked it. It showed good thinking, and it showed the difference in the teams today. England were alive to a possibility of getting something, whereas Ireland were definitely not alive to the possibility of defending something. It just was. But you see, again, at scrum half we had Redden, who wasn't playing very well, and we bring in O'Leary, who I think is just an atrocious scrum half. But you know, that's besides the point. I do think Ireland need to start looking for a lot of young talent, like what England have done this year and Wales last year, and then we need to rebuild whilst keeping a strong spine. We need to rebuild. But again, England, I think, were fantastic today. Very much deserved their win. Ireland were just so very poor, and like I said, not ashamed to be Irish, or not ashamed to be an Ireland supporter, just ashamed of how those lads played themselves. Anyway, peace, love and puppies, folks.